beautiful fall day in September 2022, and Captain Kim Liszka is standing on the edge of the tallest bridge in Central Oregon. She's looking down at the water below, way below. As she does so, a fellow female veteran bungee jumps off the bridge. Captain Kim takes a deep breath and closes her eyes. Was this how her all-female veterans retreat was supposed to go?
Yeah, so our first retreat was pretty nerve-wracking. I mean, we were excited, but it was really nerve-wracking because we never did an event like this before. Even the thought of being around other military women, just from our experience in the military, was a bit scary. So we didn't know what to expect.
Captain Kim and her co-organizer, Captain Dakota Olson-Harris, had been encouraged to create an all-female military retreat to give veterans the chance to get together and learn from each other's experiences. A dozen from around the country attended.
And so we had all different activities through the weekend. We went bike riding, and then we had art therapy, and we had yoga, and we had storytelling time.
It was an incredible weekend. The women shared their stories, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. They talked, they laughed, they cried. And many of them, for the first time ever, felt like they had found kindred spirits. And then, on the final day, Kim brought them to the bridge.
Yeah, so at the end, we were like, oh, we have a trust exercise now. Now that we have all come together and we trust one another, now we're going to go to the largest bridge in Oregon, and we are all going to bungee jump off of it.
And what was the reaction from the women?
Every single woman bungee jumped. There was a few that were like, oh, heck no, we are not jumping off that bridge. But once we brought everyone together and we were like, look, of course you should be scared. You're doing something that is your brain can't even compute, but we are all here with you.
As each woman jumped, the others cheered them on. And then it came time for Captain Kim. She had bungee jumped years ago, but this time it felt much different.
Because the first time I did it, I was by myself. And the second time I did it, I was surrounded by this group of women, military women, that I have just spent the weekend with bonding. And it felt so easy to go up there and just jump off there, trust myself, trust that sisterhood circle.
3, 2, 1.
It was amazing.
Captains Kim and Dakota had each spent over a decade in the Army and faced a number of real obstacles. But it wasn't until that first weekend retreat that they realized the power of camaraderie amongst female veterans. It inspired them to not only host more retreats, but also launch the podcast Dog Tag Diaries, a show in which they interview fellow military women about their experiences. In today's episode, our hosts sit down with Captains Kim and Dakota to discuss their own Army journeys, how the show has helped them overcome some of their own traumas, and also the fine cuisine of bugs. I'm Carrie Varro-Hakes, and this is Army Matters.
Hey everyone, Senior Producer Liszka Duncan here. This month, we're celebrating AUSA's 75th anniversary. And in our last episode, my fellow producer, Carrie, chatted with our president, General Brown, about the occasion. After listening to that, I realized I didn't want to be left out. So I stole Carrie's microphone and wandered the hallways to find out what AUSA's secret sauce is from two of its most junior employees.
Hi, my name is Ron Colville. I am the systems administrator for the association, and I've been with the association for over 26 years, approaching 27 years.
Show off. My name is Nzinga Curry, and I am the Director of the Education and Programs Department here at the Association of the United States Army. And I also have the pleasure of being the Executive Producer for our Army Matters podcast. I, too, have been here for a while, but only at 20 years.
You're playing catch up.
I started when I was 3. That's why I look so good.
I know that's a lie, because I remember when you started.
I agree. And Nzinga looks great. Of course, she's technically my boss. But still, as people who have been here for a while, are there any programs that they feel more people should know about?
They do way much more than what I know, because I'm down in the IT department. I don't see everything. I hear about it. Family readiness and what Holly does with all the family. It's unbelievable what they do. And Nzinga with the education department. Yeah, I mean, just all of it.
So the beautiful thing about AUSA is that we focus on the total Army. At some time or some point, we collaborate with each other to make sure that we are providing the education, the programs, the products to those who are looking for professional development, looking for family support, looking for advocacy or things of that nature, as well as those who are just want to be engaged with the Army Association. The biggest thing is that we do is carry out the Army messaging, as well as advocate and support those who are in the Army, who retired from the Army, who served in the Army, or their family members. Yeah, but what is AUSA's secret sauce? I mean, what's kept them here for over 20 years? Personally, I would look at the opportunity to just meet really good people. I just left a retirement gathering, and the discussion was mainly about just working with really good people, like folks who are more than just coworkers. Working here at AUSA, I have really developed a love for the folks that I work with and the opportunity to serve alongside with.
It's a family. And, you know, I have a lot of friends that have left AUSA, and they've reached out to me and say, hey, are there any openings they would like to come back? The environment, the people, the family, everything that the association stands for, it's really just a rich environment to work. Great people.
And finally, I ended with the most important question. Which is their favorite host of our show? Who is the favorite host? That is so easy. Oh my gosh. My favorite host of AUSA Army Matters podcast is Liszka Duncan, who steps in sometimes when General Smith or SMA Daily is not able to do it. Okay, so I took the easy route. As I said earlier, Nzinga's my boss. So who am I to argue with her? Thanks to Ron and Nzinga for sitting down with me. And happy birthday, AUSA.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Army Matters. I'm Lieutenant General Retired Leslie C. Smith, and I'm so glad you're here today because I'm here with my best buddy, my good friend,
Dan.
Daniel who?
Dan Daly, the 15th Sergeant of the Army, retired, of course. Les, how are you doing today?
I'm great, man. How are you dealing with this weather?
It is hot.
Hot. Humid, too.
It's like Africa and Iraq hot.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. Not quite, but close, right?
Not quite, but close.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah. You know, Dan, we've been hosting this show, can you believe, for 2.5 years now?
has it been that long already?
What?
2 years? What?
Isn't that crazy?
Gosh.
Yeah.
And we only got, 20, 30 more years to go?
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll see
Well,
how long they'll keep us on this.
maybe if our listeners start buying our merch, we can stay on the air longer.
Do we have merch?
Well, AUSA has merch.
Yeah, like
We
the
sure
shirts
do.
we have on. Like, AUSA. You can't see them, but we both have on AUSA.
But you can't buy it online, though, can you?
Dan has the brand new Hawaii
AUSA shirt on.
Yes, Hawaii
Hawaiian.
theme.
Hawaii print, yes.
Yeah, Hawaii print.
What our listeners could do, though, Les,
What could they do?
is they could download our picture,
Yes.
take it to their local tattoo artist, and get up their tattoo of us.
The one together with us together.
Yes, yes.
So what's the most surprising thing that you learned about me?
Oh, I've learned a lot, actually, just in this podcast. I mean, we work together.
Yeah,
Les and I, you all know. Les and I spent a lot of time in the Pentagon together. We've known
Not
each other
only
for
that,
years.
Before that time frame. But anyway,
I've
go ahead.
learned more about Les in this podcast than I did in all the years that I knew you. I mean, of course, I knew a lot about you then.
Yeah, but why? Why do you think that's the case?
You know, we go back and forth, the interesting questions we asked each other. So I learned that you went to Catholic school as a kid.
Yeah. Is that the most
Yeah.
surprising thing you learned?
Well, it's one of them. You know, I just, I don't know. We were talking about growing up and going to school, and I was like, I went to Catholic school, and you're like, so I'm like, did you really?
What?
You just never told me that before.
Yeah, well, you never asked. Thank you very much.
It's always my fault.
No,
Listeners,
you
can't
never
tell?
asked.
So what's the most interesting thing you learned about me?
That you brew beer.
You didn't know that before?
No. How was I going to know that?
I don't know. Everybody that lived on Fort Myer was coming over. All the generals were coming over to my house to get free beer all the time.
Myer, remember?
No, that's right. You didn't live on Fort Myer.
I lived, no. I was down in Fort Belvoir initially because, you know, I wasn't a big enough dog. And then.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were the deputy first.
I was a
and then
deputy.
Then you became the big dog.
Yeah.
The bigger roofer.
Yeah, medium size.
Medium.
Okay. The reason why we're talking about this, Dan,
Mm-hmm.
is that last week when you were doing your great work, I sat down with two fellow podcast hosts. They're very excited about what they do, about a lot of things. It was a great podcast about two other hosts that learned a lot about each other, that they immediately bonded, just like you and I were talking about. And they have a hit podcast series from that.
Very cool. Very cool. That is pretty cool. So, Les, why don't we listen to the interview you did with Captain Kim and Captain Dakota?
Hey, Captain Kim and Captain Dakota, welcome to Army Matters.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We're excited to be on.
First question is, tell us where you are right now. Where are you located?
I'm in Bend, Oregon.
Okay.
And I'm in Eugene, Oregon.
Oh, so both of you guys in Oregon, so pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys sound like sisters.
We pretty much are.
Okay.
Family.
This is going to be so much fun. So I want to know about eating bugs. So which one of you guys ate bugs? Huh?
That
Who
was me.
it? That was you? So you've been on a number of reality television shows like Fear Factor, American Ninja Warrior? What? What was the most challenging?
I've actually ate bugs in the military during military training, but Captain Kim, she did it on live television.
Yeah, Kim. Yeah, Kim.
Wait.
You did on live TV? Explain.
Yeah, well, so here's the deal. We didn't get
What?
to eat bugs because, listen, we didn't even make it to the second round.
Oh.
My episode was ex-couples. Like, who wants to spend a week with their ex all day on set? Look, he couldn't follow instructions in the relationship. He definitely couldn't follow relationship to win 50,000 or instructions to win $50,000 on Fear Factor.
Okay, I'm leaving that alone. So you on American Ninja Warrior too?
Yeah, American Ninja Warrior. They actually had a military edition.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it before. Were you on that one?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up now. So how far did you go?
Oh, I didn't go far. I got the frog steps, and then when I got to the trampoline, I went right into the water.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So what got you started in reality television?
Yes, every Monday, me and my son would watch Fear Factor. And all of a sudden, because I'm from Philly, there was this casting call in Philadelphia. And my son's like, Mom, you need to go do that. And I was like, well, I don't think I really want to go do all those stunts and eat the bugs and all the things, but I can get my headshot to one of the producers. And so I went and they loved me right away, right? Like the cute little blonde in the military, that could make a whole story for them.
Okay.
So I started there and then they just they loved me and they just kept picking me for all these TV shows.
Right. Yeah. So Dakota, talk to me about bugs.
Whew.
So when did you do it? So what type of training was it? There you were.
Yeah. So I was in ROTC at the time.
Yeah. Can you say what university?
Eastern Oregon University in La Grande, Oregon. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very
Nice.
small, but it's an amazing program.
Okay.
And so one of the programs they have is CULP, which is Cultural Understanding and Language Program. And so I was able to go to Guyana and train with their cadets and then the Brazilian Special Forces. And we did jungle warfare training, which was very interesting. So they threw us out into the middle of the jungle, wanted us to make a shelter, fire, and they taught us how to forage, what to look for. And so, Timon and Pumbaa, those big worms, that's what I ended up eating.
Nice.
And you had to rip off. It was really juicy. Really
was it
juicy.
crunchy? Did it taste like chicken?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's all good. Yeah, but so needless to say, we've all had to do some very strange things. So let's jump into your origin stories. Now, Kim, you started out at college taking nursing and then eventually found your way to the Army. Can you walk us through that path?
Yeah. So just so you know, there's no consistency in my life.
Really?
I actually went to college for exercise science and athletic training.
Okay.
And so I did good like the first semester, but then got myself into a sorority. I was a cheerleader. So I started partying way too much. Yeah, I lost my way. And so I ended up leaving college, but I knew I needed something. I knew I needed discipline. I knew I needed structure. And I had a long lineage of males in my family in the military. My dad was in the Army. My grandpa was in the Navy. So I was like, I think I'm just going to join the Army and follow in my father's footsteps. So in 1995, I went into the recruiting station. And of course, I went in and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to do combat medic. And they were like, we don't have any slots for combat medic. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Then I'm leaving. And I started walking out and they're like, oh, wait. One just popped up. And I'm like, sure, it did.
You know how it works.
I'm like, I'll take that one. So yeah,
Okay.
That started my career.
Yes. And you became a combat medic. Where'd you go to basic training?
Oh, Fort Lost in the Woods, Missouri. Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Yeah, don't say misery. I commanded there. It was a great place. Which battalion? Do you remember?
Oh, God. Bravo 210.
And how about you, Dakota? Why did you first enlist?
I was from a small town. I didn't want to be stuck in the small town. I wanted to get out and see the world. And I knew that I wanted to go to college, but that I wouldn't be able to afford it. And so that's originally what got me started.
So you deployed within a few months of enlisting to Iraq. What was that like? And what were you doing?
I had just gotten back from AIT, Advanced Individual Training.
So advanced individual training, your military occupational specialty
I started as a tank mechanic, and then that was about the time that the unit was heading out for their deployment.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was hard because I was a big family person, and I had a little sister at the time, and we were like this. We were very close, and so it was hard leaving her again.
Can you tell us about the traumatic moment during your first deployment?
Yeah.
What happened and what did you do to deal with that upon returning back?
Ooh. So we were doing convoy security in Iraq, and we were going along the road, and a couple of vehicles behind me was hit by an RPG, or a rocket propelled grenade. And we ended up having to call for a helicopter, medevac come and pick up the individual. And also at the time, my vehicle had lost AC, and the heat in Iraq is absolutely unbearable. And so we ended up switching switching vehicles to the one that actually got hit because it was still mobile. And I just went up into the gun turret because I was a 240 Bravo gunner at the time. And I just see blood everywhere. The glass was shattered. It was just a mess. And there's blood dripping down. That's one of the moments that really stuck with me. And I think it did because I didn't know if he was alive or not. But he ended up surviving.
Yeah.
And I think coming home, I didn't know how to deal with it. And so when I did get home, I was in my apartment by myself, drinking a lot, crying myself to sleep because I didn't have anyone. So it was hard.
Yeah. Coping skills. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any because I was out of high school. I jumped right into a deployment. But I did have someone that saw me. He was one of my friend's dad from high school. He was also an ROTC instructor. And so he scooped me up. He's like, "You're coming to ROTC." And that's essentially how I started my career as an officer.
So Dakota, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I think that'll help our listeners quite a bit. So Dakota, let's continue on with you. So you're currently a readjustment counselor for the VA.
Yes.
First, explain to our listeners what that is, and then tell us what that best part of your job is.
Ooh. I have the opportunity to help soldiers readjust to civilian life, whether they're going through post-traumatic stress disorder, military sexual trauma, depression, anxiety. If they're currently going to school, I try to help them adjust to coming back into civilian life. And I think the best part of my job is being with people through their journey and being able to help them have a higher quality of life when they're done with counseling.
Did you know that as a member of AUSA, you have access to many benefits? From car rental to entertainment discounts, the opportunities are ample. Visit us online at ausa.org/benefits to learn more.
The Medal of Honor is the highest military decoration in the United States.
This medal is for the men who went down that day. It's for the families of those who didn't make it.
Recipients have done the improbable, showing immense bravery and sacrifice in the name of something much bigger than themselves. On Medal of Honor, Stories of Courage, you'll hear about these heroes and what their stories tell us about the nature of bravery. Listen to Medal of Honor wherever you get your podcast.
Welcome back to Army Matters, everyone. Now let's talk about the first time that you two met. I believe it was Dan Landa who brought you together. And you call him Founding Father Dan? Who is he?
So Founding Father Dan, he is a veteran as well. And he was part of a military veteran nonprofit. And so they were doing a lot of fishing trips and motorcycling, and they weren't getting a lot of females. And so the one day I met Dan at a motorcycle event, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, have you ever thought of doing an all-female retreat?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, all the time." And so he was like, "Wonderful." He's like, "We will pay for you to do an all-female retreat, and I have the perfect woman to help you do this." Enter Dakota.
Nice.
I had met Dan because I lived in Eastern Oregon, and I also worked with his wife. And so he linked us up, and Kim and I had never met before. And the first time we met was at the first retreat that we ever hosted.
Wow. So you guys hit it off from day one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We spoke maybe 3 or 4 times on the phone. He gave us 3 weeks to get this retreat up and running. And yeah, it just kind of clicked. Dakota and I feel like came together for a reason, because I feel like a lot of us have that imposter syndrome. And so having Dakota by my side to continually build me up, listen to me, inspire me is just so beautiful for me. So thank you, Dakota.
Yeah. So can you tell me why you think these retreats are so successful?
A lot of the military women, when they get out of the military, don't really want anything to do with the military. So they tend to isolate, they tend to get depressed. So when Dakota and I saw that, we were like, oh my goodness, we do need to bring this together. And with Dakota's background of being the therapist and mine in the medical field, we thought, oh my gosh, what a great combination to bring mental health and holistic healing together for these women. But really, it is about community and providing that safe environment.
So Dog Tag Diaries podcast was started as a result of those retreats, right?
I have been to co-ed retreats before, and being able to experience an all military woman retreat was so different. The military women, they were a lot more open. They were more vulnerable. They were talking about things that I've never heard military women talk about. And so I thought, oh my gosh, what a beautiful avenue to have to really amplify military women voices. So Dakota and I agreed that we needed to start a podcast and have the world hear these military women's stories, because they are important.
So you just released your 50th episode. That's great. That's great stuff. So of all those guests, whose story do you think was the most powerful?
The most powerful for me was Dakota's. And the reason why is because Dakota and I spent a lot of time developing the nonprofit. We spent a lot of time creating the podcast. And I really only knew superficial things about her, like she was still in the National Guard and that she had a family and she was prior enlisted and now officer. But I really never heard her story. And Dakota, to me, came across as very stoic. And she's a therapist, so she's listening to people's stories all the time. So she's just conditioned to ask a lot of questions. So really, during our interview and listening to her express herself, it was the first time I heard her cry. It was the first time I heard her tell her story. And it was just really impactful for me to see that side of her.
Oh, thank you, Kim. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. So I have honestly taken a step back from the podcast because I'm juggling a lot of different things. So Kim has done a really good job with taking that on and just making it into this beautiful thing. And I really enjoy listening to her interview the women. It's just so personable and honest, and she's really intrigued with what they have to say. But the most recent one that I listened to was Lorena Black. And I really resonated with her when she talked about her childhood with people pleasing. She also went through ROTC as an older student as well. And what she does now is help people develop into their best self, especially entrepreneurs. So yeah, that was the most recent one that I really could resonate with.
Okay. So other than me or Dan Daly, who else would you love to have on the show?
Ooh. Oh gosh, hold on. I have to look up her name.
Our goal is to have every single woman who have served in the military on our podcast. So,
that's pretty awesome. Okay.
Yes, that's our goal.
That's a pretty big list. Okay.
Oh, Lieutenant Amanda Lee, the first female Blue Angel.
Okay. Great. let's end up with something fun. So, Kim, I understand you as a child, you wrote a song called Boy Crazy.
Oh, Kim.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even know about
Kim,
this.
that's what
What?
yeah. What? That's what I want to know. Do you remember any of the lyrics to it? Come on, give it to us. We want to know. We
all
sing
I remember,
too.
all I remember is I'm going boy crazy. That was the chorus. Yeah.
I was going, okay.
I wish I could find that sheet of paper where I wrote it because I truly believed I was going to be the next Madonna. So, yeah.
Okay.
Learn something new about Kim.
Yeah, every day. So have you told your son about that? Does he know about that?
No, he'd be like, that's so uncool, Mom. That's so embarrassing.
I want you to tell him because it's going to be on the podcast. You might as well tell him. So Dakota, we started the show about Kim's experience in reality television. What reality show would you most like to take part in?
Oh, good question, because
I actually did audition. Well, I did an interview for American Gladiators. They're bringing it back, but I didn't make the cut. So it's very interesting, the interview process, because you have to step outside of yourself and be very much more than what you are, very like bubbly and just outgoing. And so that was definitely a learning experience for me.
but she did it, and I was so proud of her.
Yeah, I think that's really, really cool. So, as we close out this podcast, so what would you tell a young lady who thought about joining the military? Why should they do it? I'm saying the Army because that's what I was in. I was in the National Guard, by the way, before I came on active duty. Yeah. So what would you say? Let's start with you, Kim. What's this thing about joining the Army specifically that changed your life?
So I would tell them to really evaluate what they want. And I would tell them to really take some time to discover what all the branches of the military are about and just see which ones fit their lifestyles. I would also tell them to talk to their family members just so they can make sure that they have a good supportive system, because you really need a good support system back home when you decide to go in.
Okay. All right. How about you, Dakota?
I think Kim makes a lot of great points. I would especially tell them to make sure they advocate for themselves. If there's something that they want to do, like a school, or if they want to change careers, make sure they advocate for themselves, because no one should care more about their career than they should.
Yeah, that's good. So we really appreciate you coming on the show today, and appreciate all the things that you're doing to help our veterans and those that are continuing to serve. And we're looking forward to jumping on your podcast one day. Do we qualify to get on Dog Tag Diaries?
No.
Why not? I'm a girl dad.
It's Dog Tag Diaries, where military women share their stories and speak their truth.
I'm a girl dad. I can't talk about the challenges and the opportunities of raising daughters. How about that?
You know what? We would love to have your daughter on, the one that's in the Army.
Yeah.
So Captain Kim Liszka and Captain Dakota Olson-Harris, thanks so much for being on Army Matters today. We really enjoyed you guys being here today.
Oh gosh, it was our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
As you probably already know, last month was the Army's 250th birthday, and many of our chapters hosted gatherings. Our Fort Sheridan chapter, though, was especially busy with not only a birthday party, but also another big event. To tell you more about it, here's the chapter's treasurer.
It's Michael Peck. I'm a retired colonel and currently the treasurer for the Fort Sheridan chapter of AUSA. I live here in Mundelein, Illinois. June 14th, we celebrated the Army birthday at the American Legion Post in Lake Zurich, Illinois. We had Medal of Honor recipient Al Lynch there, along with General Mukiyama. And we only had over 100 Army veterans attend that. Yeah, July 21st, we held our unveiling of the Colonel Robert McCormick plaque at Cantigny, the 1st Division Museum in Wheaton, Illinois. And at the Doughboy statue, which is at the entrance to the Education Center there at Cantigny, we placed a 100-pound plaque. Now, Cantigny was the first battle of World War I that the American Army fought in, and Colonel McCormick was the commander of an artillery unit, and they fired the first rounds of that battle. And when he returned home, he decided to name his estate Cantigny after that first battle. That was quite an event, and we decided to have the General Assembly pass a resolution which honored the legacy and career of Colonel Robert McCormick.
Thanks to Colonel Peck and the entire chapter for everything that they do. If you or your chapter would like to be profiled on the show, please email us at podcast@ausa.org.
To all our listeners, thanks for joining us. Army Matters is brought to you by the Association of the United States Army, the U.S. Army's professional association, member-supported, Army-connected. Visit us at ausa.org for more information or to become a member. Your membership helps AUSA continue to carry out its mission, educate, inform, and connect with the total Army, our industry partners, and supporters of a strong national defense. Today's episode was hosted by Lieutenant General Retired Les Smith and SMA Retired Dan Daly, and anchor hosted by Carrie Barrow-Heckes. Anthony Del Call is the producer and writer, and Andy Bosnack is the supervising sound editor. Ellen Toner is the content editor. Unzinga Curry is the executive producer, and the senior producers are Carrie Barrow-Heckes and LaSharon Duncan. Be sure to subscribe to Army Matters wherever you get your podcasts, and please leave a review. As you know, we love seeing stars in the Army, especially if it comes in the form of a 5-star review. AUSA's Army Matters podcast can also be heard on Reach Across America Radio on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, on the iHeartRadio app, the Odyssey app, and the TuneIn app with the search of the word Reef. AUSA's Army Matters podcast primary purpose is to entertain. The podcast does not constitute advice or services. While guests are invited to listen, listeners, please note that you're not being provided professional advice from the podcast or the guest. The views and opinions of our guests do not necessarily reflect the views of AUSA. For questions or to provide topic recommendations, email us at podcast@ausa.org. I'm LaSharon Duncan. Hope you have a great Army Day. Hooah!